Warning: the following is a work of fiction and not intended for children. Viewer discretion is advised. The Ballad of Stormy by HurtComfortBox, Part 3. Karen's shrieks split the morning calm, and Stormy immediately shot awake, barely avoiding crushing her babies. Her babies! Her heart filled again with bliss as she remembered. She had babies, and now Mama saw them. Stormy looked up at Karen, expecting to see a look of happiness. But instead, there was a look unlike anything Stormy had seen before. Karen's husband Mike stood behind her. Stormy only saw Mike once in a while, if he walked behind Karen while the door was open. Now, however, he looked just as pissed as his wife.
What the fuck? How did it shit out more, Karen?
Karen turned to her husband and the screaming began. Meanwhile, Stormy cowered, holding her baby safely to her belly fluff. She was so confused. Why was Mama and Dad angry? Babies make everything better.
Mama, babies make everything better.
But before she could explain to her mama that this was a good thing, she had made the bestest babies. Mike had stormed into the room, holding a laundry basket. He picked her up roughly by the scruff of her neck.
Owies, oopsies, not Mama, need to take care of babies.
He ignored her, except to shake her roughly and drop her into the basket. He then picked up each of her babies and put them in the basket too. She held her babies to her, but couldn't help but make bad, scaredy poopsies in the basket. Mike slapped her for that.
God damn it. This is why I didn't want one of these fucking things, Karen.
Mike hauled them out to his truck, ignoring Karen's whining.
But babe, they'll get me so many likes.
Stormy and her babies were put in the trunk of Mike's car. Once the lid was closed and darkness descended, Stormy began to scream, prompting her babies to writhe and chirp in distress. She peed all over herself and voided whatever was left in her bowels, causing her to have to suffer the stench of her own fear. She didn't know what was happening, what she had done wrong. She had done bad poopsies, but that was after Mama and Dada got mad. She didn't understand why she was in the scary bad sorry box, or why her babies were in the sorry box with her. Babies weren't for sorry boxes. Babies were for milkies and huggies and love. She held her babies close to her, desperate to protect them from the monsters that lived in the dark. It was many forevers before the trunk was opened and a light stung her eyes. She pleaded desperately with Mike.
Please, Daddy, Stormy's sorry. Please, no hurting babies. Babies are good babies.
Mike made a noise of disgust and ignored her pleas as he carried the laundry basket down the embankment and to a lone tree just a bit outside the rest of the tree line proper. There, he took a length of rope and tied it around one end of the tree and the other around Stormy's neck, and he dumped the small family roughly onto the grass, took the laundry basket, and drove away. Stormy cried for many forevers after Dada left. Eventually, however, the distressed chirps of her babies prompted her to stop, carefully picking them up and checking them. They were covered in pee-pees and poopies from when she got scared in the sorry box, but other than that, they were unharmed. She began to lick them clean, wrinkling her nose at the smell and taste. And she thought. She needed to find Snowball, she decided. He was smart, and he would know what to do. He had gotten over the pen wall, and so he could help her. After all her babies were clean, she carefully placed them on her back before walking in a random direction. She got only a short ways from the tree before the rope snapped taut and choked her. She coughed, sitting abruptly.
Owie, stupid sorry rope.
She pulled at it with her hoovesies, but her smooth, delicate hoof pads found no purchase. She tried to bite through it, but the rope was much too thick for her delicate mouth. It was no use. It was then that her tummy rumbled again. She'd never gotten fed, and her babies were chirping hungrily.
Mama have no nummies, babies. Milk can make milkies. Mama, sorry.
She got up, walked carefully around the tree. Maybe it would have some nummies somewhere around it. She found no nummies, but there was a small hollow in the tree filled with rainwater. She wrinkled her nose, but she was so thirsty, so she lapped it up. It tasted like moss and dirt.
Bleh. It don't taste niceies.
Her babies were beginning to wiggle and chirp with more insistence. She didn't have milkies for them, but maybe she could make a nesty for them? She began to paw at the grass, but her soft hoovesies did nothing. Frustrated, she leaned down and bit the grass, pulling it loose. It came away. An instinct kicked in. She ate it before she could stop herself.
Yucky. No taste nummies. But Stormy me make milkies for babies.
She sighed and ate another bite. She fed her babies again and managed with a lot of effort to dig out a shallow hollow beneath the tree. She set her babies inside and curled up with them, the rope chafing her neck. It wasn't perfect, but it kept the worst of the wind off. And now that her immediate needs had been met, Stormy was left to ponder. Where had it gone wrong? No one had ever found out about her forbidden special huggies with Snowball, so that couldn't be it. She had never made bad poopsies in the house, except at the very end when Dada had given her hurties and bad upsies. She had never asked for sketties, and had never begged Mama for new toysies. The most she had ever asked for was huggies. Was that why she was a bad Fluffy? Was she a bad Fluffy at all? She had to be, she thought, or else Mama and Dada wouldn't have tied her to the sorry tree. At first, she thought that maybe this was like the sorry box, where Dada would eventually come back and take her home and everything would be okay. She would apologize for being a bad Fluffy, even if she didn't understand why she was a bad Fluffy. And then Mommy would put dressies on her and take pictures with her and her babies, and everything would be okay again. She just had to be patient, and she was good at that. That's why Mama picked her at all. So she waited, and waited, and waited. It wasn't until the sun was starting to sink towards the horizon that Stormy started getting worried. It was going to be dark time soon. Dada knew that dark times were bad for Fluffies, right? Mama would remind him. Stormy knew it. She ate some more grass and fed her babies, singing to them Mama songs to comfort them when they chirped at the strange noises in the woods. It was now almost night. Stormy wanted to cry, but she was all dried up. Instead, she scooched as far back into her makeshift nest as she could, holding her babies close.
Mama loves babies. Babies love Mama.
The noises in the night grew louder, and soon Stormy was too scared to even sing. She just shivered and waited for the sun.